Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your friend Bats. My name is Jared, and this is Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection Volume 10, Big Apple Battleground by Len Wein, Marv Wolfman, and Ross Andru. This is the years of 1977 to 1978, and it collects Amazing Spider-Man 165 to 185, Annual 11, and Nova 12. And this is the third ASM epic that I have read this year, and that's because I've been reading for the last handful of years, I've been reading like 1.5 epics a year of Spider-Man, and I was like, oh, there's like gonna be like 40 of those, and if I read 1.5 of them each year, I'm never going to finish this series because I'm 40 years old right now. And so I'm doing my best to get through ASM, original volume. And the last two volumes, I had a lot of high praise for, saying that they're just some of the best Spider-Man stories of the time. And I was actually really excited about Len Wein coming on, and he almost reinvigorated Peter as a character. He added, it felt like he added more layers to him. And when I was reading this one was just kind of it felt like paint by numbers. What I do like about it is some of the craziness of it. Stegron, the dinosaur man, I'm all for some campy, wacky crap. I'm all for it. And Jameson is also making a new Spider Slayer. And so, but yeah, Stegron was fun he's a fun visual, but the story itself was kind of, but he's fun to look at. And it led up to the lizard, had some dinosaur things. We got a new, the third attempt of Jameson trying to kill Spider-Man with a robot with his face on it. So I kind of felt like paint by numbers. This guy, Willow the Wisp, was, I don't know if they were really thought they had something when they said introducing the most suspenseful or sense-shattering new superstar of all, Willow the Wisp. And he's very forgettable. You can finish his story and never think of him again. But it was, it was okay. It's Len Wein. Ross Andru. This story here it was a story. I felt like I was just kind of reading this big in-between stage, right? Because this era is before Jim Shooter, and it's that era of the writer is also the editor, and so no one can kind of tell them no. And the Nova story I did not like. This, as ridiculous as it was, this Amazing Spider-Man Annual 11, it had a lot of fun art, and it was just insane with these guys in spider costumes. Totally absurd, but the Spider Squad, right? Totally nonsensical absurdity, but it was fun. And then it had some debut of John Romita Jr. in some pencils. And the first Rocket Racer story was a lot of fun. But the Molten Man, Liz thing, that we're doing that. This was okay. I like the Punisher stories. They're always good. But yeah, it kind of felt like paint by numbers, so much that like Green Goblin shows up again, and Aunt May gets in the hospital. She has another heart episode, which leads, and then Green Goblin shows up at the hospital. He shows up and then messes up with one of Peter's friends. And the big twist was it wasn't Norman or Harry. It was Harry's psychologist or psychiatrist, which I didn't know that was a thing, but you know, it was a thing. We got a big flashback episode where it's pretty much, it was funny too, because I noticed they like, something must have happened, because they say, come back next time, next issue, Rocket Racer. And then you're like, here's a complete flashback of the last 180 issues. And then we go back into the next issue is Rocket Racer, which was fun, which leads to this, and then leaves you hanging for this. And Mary Jane essentially says no. And says, you know, she'd rather be promiscuous, essentially. And Betty Brant randomly shows back up and wants to leave Ned and be with Peter. And, you know, my favorite part of this thing was this white dragon. This guy's awesome looking. I love this character. I've only read him in these 2 issues. And I don't think I'm going to see much of him anymore after this. But I just think this guy is fantastic. He's great. And that's pretty much the volume. It was kind of paint by numbers, and it was kind of just formulaic, generic Spider-Man stories, but had some good ones, had some bad ones. But I'm getting through the series. That's what matters for me. So if you're reading, if you collect epics, you're going to get, and you collect Spider-Man, you're probably going to get this. And so I don't want to say I highly recommend this, but I just always recommend ASM. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, do all the YouTube things. Thanks for watching. Peace. Bye.